and hold your breath and feel the tension.
So, two things happened to me recently, and I'm not sure if it was a coincidence or paranormal. So, first thing happened around a month ago, and I walked into my bathroom and my cat was in there. And my family is also in the house. So I crack the door and go pee, and I hear the door shut, not too hard but not too soft. And I get done thinking, my family shut it, but I see my cat just kind of staring at the door, and the cats in my house are smart. If a door is cracked, they know how to open it, and the room has hardly any airflow in it, and I asked my family if they shut the door, but they said no. One thing I forgot to mention is that it's not a house, but an apartment building above a hardware store, and there's 2 stories to the apartment, so I'll explain. It's on like the main street of a town, so you can enter the hardware store or go a little ways to our entrance, and it requires a key, so it's like 20 stairs to our level, then 10 stairs up to the second level, and the hardware store has a really big basement, and almost like a maze, and the building is probably around 100 years, like all the other buildings in my town. I don't know any history of this place, but I know it's kind of creepy. Second experience. This was like a few days ago, and I was walking towards the entrance down my street, and I see a man peek around the corner of the entrance of our building. It's kind of like a little nook in the building, and the man is wearing a gray shirt and looks to be of Hispanic descent with short hair. And so I walk to the entrance with my mom and 2 sisters, but I don't see the man. And I look down the street, but no one was there, especially one who looks like him. And like I said, the door requires a key. It's 20 steps up in the first flight and 10 up the second flight. But I saw the man turn around and disappear. So I open the door, go up the stairs with my sister to let our dog in our apartment. And she accidentally lets it go. And it runs up the stairs and up halfway through the second flight, staring at the top. So we go get our dog and leave. I told my mom, and she's seen weird stuff here also. But I've never seen that man before or since then. Sorry if it was long or parts were vague. Feel free to ask questions. I'll try to respond. I've been finding loads of strange things around my area, my apartment. Firstly, a random piece of missing tooth while I was cleaning the kitchen. Found it right behind the cooker stove, and when I showed it to everyone in the house, they don't know what or whose tooth that was. Plus, it did seem too big to be any of ours. Same thing happens with the time I found chicken bones right outside my apartment door. Strange cats around me as well, just randomly sitting there and staring at me, especially as I walked out of the house. It's just that the question is, why here? Why now? Why is this cat the only cat that's already ready to stare at me as I'm walking out? How does it know that I'm coming out? It's worse, honestly, when there's way more cats randomly appearing near me. There's a bird. Just one that followed us from our old apartment into our new one as well. All the other birds seem the same. They come and they go, and they are almost all the same color and size. But this specific bird is unique. This one is all black, a little fatter, and has an orange beak. It just stays around here. Strange how still to this day this one specific bird has followed us from our old place to the new one as well. I remember the times when the doors would just randomly open and close by themselves. No wind, no nothing. Especially the time the door closed on me as if someone or something didn't want me to leave. Same thing happened with all the other doors. Another instance that happened is more of an evil type of thing recently and also from time to time. So I'd like to share my little side of the story for you guys to tell me what's happening here. Please and thank you. So, ever since my father passed away a few months later after we moved into our new apartment, I've been finding myself talking to him at times, walking and moving like him, thinking like him, reacting and acting like him, and even listening to the same music he listens to. And at specific times, actually, when I do really want to listen to the music. So when I say this, I'm saying my left foot doesn't seem right. So I start walking and moving in a certain way, which is the way my dad moves based on his left foot injury. When I start dancing to the music I put on, I dance not like I usually do, but like he definitely would, which is without any soul in it. Like an old man struggling to just have the flexibility in his body. When I say think like he does, I'm meaning all of a sudden being really good and fast with math, calculations, and anything that has to do with mathematical thinking, especially related to measurement and such. And I'm personally terrible at math. And this is something my father is very good at. Plus, he is also an engineer. When I say talk like he does, it's honestly the mumbling thing he does, along with how he randomly gets angry and bipolar at times. Now see, my mother noticed this as well. She wonders why I would talk just like my father does, and I haven't seen the man in 12 years, other than talking to him daily from time to time before he passed. I've also been noticing that this must be something serious and real because this whole thing happens just randomly and at certain times. Not always, until he decides to leave me alone, and I get back to my normal and usual self. It's like he would possess me, or near me, or take over me, and then just poof, leave. It's honestly very strange. Besides all this, he'd appear in my dreams constantly. It's like he would leave me alone, he'd tell me things, and sometimes things in this house would randomly fall down. I'd be pushed into falling down or tripping or hurting myself, as if my father's angry at me or someone or something, and he's trying to catch my attention. I'd see men down the street daily that looks just like him constantly too. What is happening here really? P.S. I feel as if he's gone missing. Not dead, but missing mostly. This must, too, have something to do with it all. Someone mentioned me and my energy connecting to his energy with him, literally trying to tell me something. I have no clue what it is though. For some context, my family moved to the Isle of Wight a few years before I was born. The house they bought is still their home to this day. I'm now 19 and I have since moved away, but this house is 6 bedrooms and built in the early 1800s, made of rich Victorians to use as a holiday home. The island itself has a lot of history, and I'd say most people I know have at least one story of a weird paranormal encounter. When we moved, there was nothing unusual apart from Nazi carvings in the wall under the stairs, which was weirdly shrugged off and covered up considering my family is Jewish. Anyway, growing up in the house, the main story I heard was one time my granddad had bought a new video camera and was getting a friend to help him set it up. They filmed out of the kitchen window talking, and nothing seemed off until they finished up and played the tape back. They saw a man staring back at them. It wasn't smudged or hard to see. It was clear as day. He was a middle-aged man in a Victorian sailor uniform. It was none of us and no one we had ever seen before, and they both swear no one else was with them and they saw no one else. The man just looked in the camera, not moving a muscle, just staring until the video ended. Other things like footsteps, things moving, locked cabinets opening on their own, and just a feeling you'd get sometimes in specific rooms happened that I can remember or have been told, but I still won't go to that part of the house because I don't think I'll sleep again. I honestly thought it was a joke until seeing it for myself. No one believes me until I tell them. And the video's long lost. But I swear on my life that man, whoever it was, didn't look like he wanted us there. I went to bed like always. I sleep with my boyfriend. We both fell asleep, and all is going as normal. I usually wake up a couple of times during the night. So I was a little child. I drink and I go to the toilet and I go back to sleep. It's not the first time I catch shadows, or I think I do, vanishing up in the air. But this time was on a completely new level. I wake up, my boyfriend is next to me, I can hear him breathing. At the end of our bedroom, there's a big figure standing, facing the bed. I remember I thought he was looking a bit like my boyfriend and dressed weird. He was wearing a sort of white-gray jumpsuit, and the thing I can't stop thinking about is the mask he had covering mouth and nose, like the ones that the military pilot wears. My heart started spinning while he started to walk towards the bed. He vanished like the others, up in the air. My boyfriend believes I was not awake, but I'm sure I was. And I also checked the clock. It was 3:45 a.m., and I could not sleep afterwards.
Devil's hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna